Did you know there are butterflies so large they look like birds, and others with crystal wings that seem invisible? Today, you are going to discover the 15 most beautiful butterflies in the world, living jewels with impossible colors, secrets hidden in their wings, and shapes that seem straight out of a dream. Stay tuned, because each species you'll see is more surprising than the last. And number 15 will leave you breathless. Number 1. Blue Morpho, Morpho Menelaus, Central and South America. In the deepest parts of the jungles of Central and South America, a flash appears, cutting the air like a blue lightning bolt. It is neither a bird nor a fragment of sky that accidentally fell among the trees. It's the blue Morpho butterfly, one of the planet's most hypnotic creatures. Its wings, a metallic blue so brilliant it seems like liquid light, owe their color not to a pigment, but to an optical phenomenon. Thousands of tiny microscopic scales on its surface reflect light so precisely that they create that electric glow, which takes the observer's breath away. When it flies in the sunlight, the Morpho seems to disappear and reappear with every flap, as if it were a living mirage. This visual trick is not just beauty, it's defense. Its predators are confused, unable to follow its trail between the blue brilliance and the brown underside of its wings, which is designed to camouflage it in the shadow. It is estimated that there are over 80 distinct Morpho species, but the Morpho Menelaus is the most famous of all, a symbol of the exotic and the mysterious. Its wingspan can exceed 15 centimeters, nearly 6 inches, making it a giant among butterflies. For the indigenous cultures of the Amazon, this butterfly is not just an insect, but a spirit of the forest. Some call it the soul that flies, and believe that its presence is a presage of good fortune. Scientists, on the other hand, study it as a source of inspiration. The structure of its wings has served as a model for creating reflective materials and even anti-theft technologies. The blue Morpho is much more than a visual spectacle. It is proof that nature does not paint with brushes, but with the laws of physics, creating works that seem magical, but are in reality pure science unfolded in the air. 2. Glasswing butterfly, Greta Otto, Central America. In the humid jungles of Central America, there exists a butterfly that seems to defy the rules of nature. It doesn't flaunt brilliant colors like others, nor does it announce its presence with electric flashes. On the contrary, it becomes nearly invisible. It is the Greta Otto, better known as the glasswing butterfly. Its transparent wings are so delicate that they resemble the fine glass of an old window. At first glance, they seem fragile, but in reality, they hide a masterful evolutionary design. The transparency allows it to disappear among the foliage, becoming a ghost that flies in silence. Predators despair trying to follow it, because what they see is not an insect, but a fleeting shimmer that blends with the environment. The magic of its invisibility does not come from the absence of color, but from a special microstructure in the scales of its wings. These disperse the light in such a way that our eyes barely perceive an outline. The result is perfect camouflage, worthy of a nature spy. But the Greta Otto is not only a scientific spectacle, it is also a cultural symbol. In several countries, it is considered an emblem of purity and the ephemeral nature of life, as if reminding us that beauty does not need to be loud. Curiously, although it appears so delicate, this butterfly is surprisingly resilient. It can travel long distances and is capable of surviving in changing environments, making it a true example of strength disguised as fragility. Another rarity makes it even more fascinating. During courtship, the males release an invisible chemical perfume, as subtle as their wings, with which they court the females. An invisible, almost secret dance that takes place deep in the jungle without anyone noticing. 3. Monarch butterfly, Danaus plexippus, North and South America. One of the most extraordinary migrations in the animal kingdom occurs every year in the skies of North America. They are not birds or whales or fish following sea currents. They are tiny butterflies, fragile to the eye, but with a seemingly impossible strength. They are the monarchs, the tireless travelers who defy time and distance. Their orange wings, outlined by black borders and speckled with white spots, are unmistakable. A simple glance is enough to recognize them. But what truly makes them a legend is their journey. Every autumn, millions of monarchs travel up to 4,000 kilometers, 2,500 miles, from Canada and the United States to the Oyamel fir forests in Mexico, where they take refuge from the winter cold. The amazing part is that none of the butterflies that start the journey will be the same one that finishes it. The route is completed over several generations, as if the knowledge of the path were encoded in their genes. In the Mexican forests, when they arrive, a spectacle unfolds that seems like a miracle. Millions of butterflies cover the trunks and branches, transforming the landscape into a vibrant tapestry of oranges and blacks. The very air seems to breathe in rhythm with their wings. But the monarch is not only beauty in motion, it is also resilience. Along its route, it faces storms, predators, and habitat loss. Nevertheless, it returns every year with the same precision, as if obeying a secret calendar that humanity has yet to fully decipher. In many cultures, the arrival of the monarchs coincides with spiritual celebrations. In Mexico, for example, they arrive around the Day of the Dead, and it is believed that they represent the souls returning to visit their loved ones. 4. Emerald swallowtail, Papilio palinurus, Southeast Asia. In the humid forests of Southeast Asia, where rays of sun filter through the leaves like golden spears, a living jewel appears that is found in no display case. It is the emerald swallowtail, a butterfly whose iridescent green shimmer makes it look forged with precious gems. Its color is not uniform. From one angle, an intense green is perceived, like a midday forest. From another, it changes to bluish or golden tones, as if carrying a hidden rainbow in every flap. This phenomenon, called iridescence, occurs because its wings are covered with tiny microscopic scales that manipulate light as if they were millions of miniature mirrors. The result is a brilliance that has left scientists and artists equally fascinated for centuries. The name swallowtail comes from the extensions on the lower part of its wings, which resemble the long feathers of a swallow in full flight. That peculiar shape, added to its brilliant tones, makes it one of the most photographed and admired butterflies in the world. But its beauty is not merely aesthetic, it also plays a crucial role in its survival. The flashes from its wings can confuse predators, making them believe they are facing a larger creature, or that the insect disappears into the light. It is, simultaneously, camouflage and spectacle. In several Southeast Asian cultures, it is associated with prosperity and luck, as if carrying the color of the emerald on its skin were a promise of abundance. It's no coincidence that its image has inspired designs for jewelry, textiles, and even symbols of royalty. 5. Owl butterfly, Caligo memnon, Central and South America. In the jungles and plantations of Central and South America, where the gloom covers the ground like a blanket, a butterfly appears that seems to carry a pair of giant eyes with it. It is the owl butterfly, a master of disguise whose strategy for survival is as ingenious as it is unsettling. At first glance, its closed wings show brown and gray tones, discreet like a tree trunk's bark. But when it unfurls them, the spectacle begins. 2 enormous circular spots, perfect imitations of eyes, emerge on its surface. They are so realistic that they seem to stare fixedly, like the eyes of a nocturnal bird ready to strike. These false eyes serve a vital function. They deceive predators. Birds, lizards, and other animals hesitate, retreat, or even flee, convinced they are facing a much larger enemy than it truly is. The size of the owl butterfly reinforces the illusion. With a wingspan of up to 20 centimeters, nearly 8 inches, it is one of the largest butterflies on the American continent. Its slow, measured flight resembles the beating of a bird's wings, increasing the effect of its disguise. During the day, it usually rests on dark trunks, perfectly camouflaged in the shadow, and it comes to life at dusk, searching for nectar or fermented fruits. In fact, it has a special attraction to ripe bananas, which makes it a frequent visitor to tropical plantations. The curious thing is that, Despite its intimidating appearance, it is completely harmless. It does not hunt, bite, or sting. Its only weapon is illusion. A reminder that in nature, sometimes the best defense is not strength, but the art of deceiving with style. 6. Peacock butterfly, Aglaezaio, Europe and Asia. In the meadows and gardens of Europe and Asia, a butterfly appears that seems hand-painted by a Renaissance artist. This is the peacock butterfly, whose name does justice to its elegance. On each wing, it sports a large, vividly colored eye, as if carrying a miniature painting unfurled in mid-flight. Its base is an intense red that recalls velvet, and on the corners of the wings, those perfect circles in blue, yellow, and black emerge, looking as if created with careful brush strokes. The comparison to the plumage of a peacock is no coincidence. Both use their eye spots to fascinate and, at the same time, protect themselves. When this butterfly feels threatened, it suddenly opens its wings, and the brilliant eyes appear as intimidating faces to the predator. The effect is so surprising that many birds fly away bewildered. The Aglaezaio doesn't need to travel thousands of kilometers to attract attention. Its spectacle takes place in plain sight, in flower fields, on sunny shrubs, even in urban parks. It is a species that adapts well to human presence and returns every spring as an announcement of good weather. A curious detail is its strategy for surviving the winter. While many butterflies die at the end of autumn, the peacock butterfly seeks refuge in tree hollows, cellars, or barns, where it remains in hibernation. Thus, it can wake up months later and continue its life cycle. In the dead of winter, this creature seems asleep, but patiently awaits the return of the sun. It is not strange that in several cultures, it is considered a symbol of rebirth and cyclical beauty. Every beat of its wings is like a reminder that nature paints with the same delicacy as a master on his canvas. 7. Kaiser-i Hind, Taenopalpus imperialis, Himalayas. In the mountains of the Himalayas, where the air is pure and the forests seem suspended in time, flies a butterfly so rare and elegant that it has been considered a symbol of royalty. Its name is Kaiser-i Hind, which literally means Emperor of India. It's not hard to understand why it was named this way. Its wings shimmer in an emerald green that looks liquid, crossed by golden reflections that sparkle under the sunlight. This contrast of metallic tones turns it into a living jewel, a hidden treasure among the high cedars of the eastern Himalayas. Its beauty, however, is only one part of its legend. What truly distinguishes it is its rarity. Finding a Kaiser-i Hind is an extraordinary event, almost a privilege. For a long time, it was so coveted by collectors that it was on the verge of danger. Its capture was seen as a trophy, a museum piece. Today, in many countries of its natural habitat, it is protected by law, considered a natural heritage that cannot be taken from the mountain. The most surprising thing is that, despite its regal appearance, this butterfly leads a discreet life. It prefers humid forests, far from human presence, and only allows itself to be seen at certain times of the year. Even among local inhabitants, there is a belief that encountering a Kaiser-i Hind brings good fortune, as if the gods of the mountain had decided to show a fragment of their glory. Science also admires it. It is a member of the swallowtail family, but with a shine so special that it seems to come out of a natural alchemy laboratory. 8. Zebra longwing, Heliconius carithonia, Americas. In the forests and gardens of the Americas, a butterfly appears wearing an unmistakable formal suit. It is the zebra longwing, known for its elongated wings covered with black and white stripes, as if someone had taken the design of an African zebra and embroidered it onto a tiny flying creature. Its appearance is pure elegance. While other butterflies display vibrant colors to attract attention, the zebra longwing opts for the classic contrast, black and white, simple yet striking. And the curious thing is that this pattern not only makes it beautiful, it also protects it. Its stripes serve as a warning to predators. Don't eat me, you won't like me. This is because the zebra longwing feeds on toxic plants, storing chemical substances in its body that make it unpleasant for birds and lizards. A simple but very effective strategy. Unlike many other butterflies that live barely a few weeks, the zebra longwing is a long liver in the insect world. It can live for several months, which allows it to form stable colonies and develop surprising social behavior. During the day, it flies in groups, and at dusk, it gathers with others of its species to sleep in a community, perching together on thin branches as if they were living leaves. This custom gives them greater security, as a united group is harder to attack. Another fascinating trait is its diet. It is not limited to flower nectar. It also feeds on pollen, something uncommon in butterflies. This gives it a nutritional advantage that explains its long life. 9. Giant glasswing, Methona confusa, South America. In the greenest and most humid corners of South America lives a butterfly that seems to have emerged from a dream. It is the giant glasswing, a close relative of the glasswing butterfly, but larger and with an even more impressive presence. Its transparent wings resemble delicate stained glass, so subtle that it's hard to believe they belong to a living being. What distinguishes it from its smaller cousin is precisely its wingspan. When it opens its wings, the Methona confusa reveals translucent panels crossed by dark veins, like the thin lead lines framing the glass of a Gothic cathedral. Seeing it fly, it doesn't look like an insect, but a walking window through which the light of the forest filters. The transparency is not just an aesthetic spectacle, it is also a weapon against death. Thanks to it, the giant glasswing manages to blend in with the environment. For a predator, it is almost impossible to distinguish where the wing begins and the foliage ends. It literally becomes a ghost of the air. But this butterfly holds another surprise: its toxicity. By feeding on certain plants, it accumulates chemical compounds that make it unpleasant for anyone attempting to devour it. Its transparency, therefore, is not just camouflage, but also a silent signal. Look at me if you can, dare to if you want. Scientists consider it a perfect example of mimicry and natural defense, while butterfly observers see it as an impossible work of art to replicate. In some communities, it is associated with the spiritual, as if it were a bridge between the visible and invisible worlds. 10. Atlas moth, Attacus atlas, Asia. In the tropical forests of Asia, where vegetation covers everything like a green ocean, dwells a creature that seems too large to be real. It is the atlas moth, considered one of the largest moths in the world. Its wingspan can exceed 25 centimeters, nearly 10 inches, meaning its wings reach the size of an outstretched human hand. At first glance, its wings are a mosaic of brown, orange, and gold tones, with sinuous lines that look embroidered with fire. But the most striking feature is at its ends. The tips of the forewings perfectly mimic the shape of a snake's head. This detail is not an aesthetic whim, but a defensive strategy. When the atlas moth feels threatened, it suddenly shakes its wings and moves them in such a way that predators believe they are facing a snake ready to attack. An optical illusion so convincing that it deters even the bravest birds. Another surprising aspect is its life cycle. Although it is immense, the atlas moth lives for a very short time in its adult phase, barely a few days. During this period, it does not feed at all. Its mouth parts are atrophied, and it depends on the reserves accumulated in its caterpillar stage. Its sole objective is to reproduce, leaving offspring before its brief existence comes to an end. In various Asian cultures, this moth is considered a symbol of mystery and transformation. In some places, its silk cocoons are used, which are so large that they have even been used to make small bags or wallets. 11. Ulysses, Papilio ulysses, Australia and Papua New Guinea. In the jungles of Australia and Papua New Guinea, amidst the deep green of the trees, a blue lightning bolt cuts the air. It is the Ulysses butterfly, one of the most dazzling on the planet. Its wings, black on the reverse and electric blue on the upper side, create a contrast so intense that it looks like a neon flash floating in the middle of nature. When it flies, the Ulysses is impossible to ignore. Its wings can reach 14 centimeters, about 5.5 inches in wingspan, and every flap is like a burst of blue light that disappears in a second, only to reappear with more force. It's no wonder that, in the areas where it lives, it is known as the happiness butterfly. It is believed that seeing one is an omen of good fortune. Its color does not come from pigments, but from an optical phenomenon called light diffraction, produced by the microscopic structure of its scales. That is, its brilliant blue is not painted, but is the result of how light bounces off its wings. A physics trick turned into a natural spectacle. The Ulysses butterfly also has a restless character. It moves quickly, always in search of hibiscus flowers and other tropical plants, from which it obtains its food. That constant energy makes its flight a challenge for photographers, who must have infinite patience to capture an instant of its brilliance. In Papua New Guinea, this butterfly is so admired that it even appears on tourist logos as an emblem of the region's natural wealth. And it's no coincidence. Its presence summarizes the best of the tropical jungle, intense and ephemeral beauty that seems designed to amaze. 12. African emerald swallowtail, Papilio nereus, Africa. In the sunny landscapes of Africa, amidst the thickness of the forests and the flowery savannas, a butterfly appears that combines sobriety and luxury in the same design. It is the African emerald swallowtail, a spectacle of black wings adorned with brilliant green stripes that look painted with brushstrokes of liquid jade. Unlike many of its relatives, this butterfly does not have the clearly marked tail extensions, although it does retain the elegance that characterizes the family. Its flight is fast, powerful, and full of green flashes that shine under the African sun, as if they were fragments of emerald in motion. The secret of its beauty lies in the contrast. The intense black that dominates its wings highlights the iridescent green stripes even more, creating a combination that has inspired everything from local crafts to contemporary jewelry. It's no exaggeration to say that this butterfly wears a natural formal suit. The most fascinating thing is its relationship with plants. The Papilio nereus depends on citrus and other species of the Clausina genus, which serve as food for its caterpillars. It deposits its eggs there, ensuring that the next generation finds the necessary food from day one. Its life cycle is so intertwined with these plants that without them, the butterfly would lose its natural stage. In some regions, its appearance is seen as a sign of abundance and renewal, as it usually coincides with periods of great flowering. Children easily recognize it. A black shadow that, upon moving its wings, reveals green flashes that mesmerize the gaze. 13. 88 butterfly, Diaethria anna, South America. In the jungles and riverbanks of South America lives a butterfly that seems to have been marked by an artist's hand. It is the 88 butterfly, named because the underside of its wings displays a surprising drawing. The number 88 traced with mathematical precision in black and white, as if carrying a secret message written by nature. When seen from the front, its upper wings sport blue or reddish tones that shine in the light, but a simple flap is enough to reveal its hidden treasure. Those concentric circles that form the perfect number. This design is not an aesthetic whim, but an evolutionary pattern that confuses predators and fascinates humans. It's as if the butterfly plays at being living art. The Diaethria anna belongs to a group of butterflies known as number butterflies, because some display figures like 89 or 98 on their wings. But the 88 is the most famous and recognizable, to the point of becoming a cultural icon in countries like Brazil, Colombia, and Peru. Its size is small, barely a few centimeters in wingspan, but it compensates with its visual charisma. Tourists and photographers seek it out as if it were a trophy, while local inhabitants consider it a symbol of uniqueness and luck. The most curious thing is that this butterfly prefers the edges of rivers and streams, where it often perches to absorb minerals from the wet sand. It is in these places where, upon unfolding its wings, it offers observers a clear view of that mysterious 88. 14. Luna moth, Actias luna, North America. On the quiet nights in the forests of North America, a creature appears that seems plucked from a fantasy tale. It is the Luna moth, one of the most ethereal and magical ones that exist. Its delicate body and pale green wings, adorned with long ribbon-like tails, make it look like a nocturnal spirit floating under the moonlight, from which it takes its name. When it flies, its movement is silent and almost hypnotic. The greenish tone of its wings makes it stand out under the silvery glow of the night, as if it were shining softly in the gloom. On each wing, it also carries a pair of circular spots, similar to small eyes, that serve to disorient potential predators. But to human eyes, these details only add to the mystery of its beauty. The Luna moth is a giant within its family. It can reach more than 10 centimeters, about 4 inches in wingspan. However, its adult life is brief, barely a week. During that time, it does not feed, as it lacks functional mouthparts. All its energy comes from what it accumulated in its caterpillar stage, and its only purpose is to find a mate and reproduce. That short existence makes seeing it an ephemeral privilege. In many North American cultures, it is associated with transformation and purity. Some indigenous peoples consider it a spiritual symbol, a messenger connecting the earthly world with the world of dreams. Even today, those who manage to observe it often describe the experience as a magical moment, hard to forget. 15. Tiger butterfly, Danaus ganutia, Asia. In the warm, flowery landscapes of Asia, a butterfly flies that at first glance recalls the famous monarch. It is the tiger butterfly, a close relative that shares its palette of oranges and blacks, but with a finer and more elegant design. Its wings look painted with delicate brush strokes, as if nature had wanted to trace a more stylized version of its famous American cousin. The pattern of the tiger butterfly is formed by black stripes that cross the orange background, mimicking the stripes of a tiger, hence its name. That intense contrast is not just an adornment, it functions as a warning. Like the monarch, the tiger butterfly feeds on toxic plants in its caterpillar stage, accumulating substances in its body that make it unpleasant for predators. Its striped attire is an inedible sign that protects it in the air. With a wingspan of around 8 to 10 centimeters, about 3 to 4 inches, it is not one of the largest butterflies, but it is one of the most striking. It can be found in gardens, meadows, and forests, and adapts easily to different environments, as long as there are flowers from which to obtain nectar. Its flight is measured and elegant, which allows it to be clearly observed as it lands on plants, as if it enjoys showing off its colors. In several Asian cultures, the tiger butterfly is a symbol of resistance and longevity, precisely because of its ability to survive in different environments. It is also associated with the traveling spirit, as it can cover great distances in search of food and a mate. The Danaus ganutia demonstrates that beauty can be repeated in nature with subtle variations, like a melody played in different tones. Similar to the monarch, but with its own refinement, it is the Asian version of a winged story that never ceases to amaze.